Hi guys, it's your girl KCEEPAT. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's tutorial, just like the heading stated, I'll be teaching you how to correct the wobble on your zip. So directly we are going to do this directly on the fabric, and also we are going to do it on a pattern. On your waist part, directly on your fabric, just go in 0.75. That would help you. That 0.75 is in inches. That would help you to correct that or give a depression on the waist part of your zip or your back part, the back part of your dress. By the time you do that, you're going to have a depressed part, and by the time you fix your zip, it's going to balance properly. That's for people that do not want to cut on pattern, because obviously it's not every time that you have to cut on pattern. But for those who will be drafting on pattern, I am just doing this for you guys. So here you go. I'm just I'm doing an off shoulder, or I'm drafting an off shoulder basic bodies, and you would see me marking the bust point, your waist, as well as your full length. So I subtracted like 5 inches from my tape to give me this off shoulder pattern. So I'm basically drafting this so that you have an idea of what you want to do. If you have a full dress, you're not working with an off shoulder pattern, that's fine. So you can draft your full bodies and also inculcate this. So basically I'm just marking the measurements and attaching the sewing allowance and all of that. So if you're doing your basic bodies, or you're working with whatever pattern you're working with, by the time you follow this method, like just do everything you have to do right, obviously you're going to get this right. So on my waist part, I marked my my shoulder to waist measurements for my front, which is 16, and that's what I marked on this draft. Now by the time I'm still putting in my measurements, but let me quickly explain. By the time I'm done marking these waist measurements, I'm going to subtract what I have as my front waist measurement. I'm going to also take the measurements of my clients, like their back waist measurement, shoulder to waist measurement, which obviously is different from the front. That is why you have that wobble you usually have when you're fixing in your zipper. By the time you get the client's back measurement, usually in some cases it's probably 2 inches difference, 1.5, 1 inch, whichever way. So make sure to take your client's back waist shoulder to waist measurements. That would really help, so that when you're drafting this, you get whatever you're doing accurately. So back to what I was explaining. I would mark the waist measurement for the front. I'll check the difference, and for this draft or this tutorial, the difference that I'm using here is 2 inches. So that 2 inches worked. I will go above the 16 inches, like the 16 inches I have marked as the waist measurements on this draft. I'll go above it and mark the 2 inches difference for the front waist and the back waist. So yes, that was what I was even explaining at this point. Just like I said, I subtracted 6 or 5 inches. Like I'm drafting an off shoulder pattern, and I subtracted that from my tape, and the waistline, which is my front waistline that I had marked on this draft, is 16 inches. So I am basically putting in the measurements for the shoulder to waist for that of the back, and clearly I told you that the difference is 2 inches. 2 inches. So when you mark that difference, just slant your ruler and mark that over the pattern. So by the time you do that, just slash out. You can either fold, or you tear up that part. Just tear it up and stop at the edge of your paper, so that you'll be able to fold that inwards, if you understand what I mean. So by the time you fold that inwards, you could use your sellotape to hold that, or whichever way. But the most important thing is that thing that you did directly on your fabric, you're clearly seeing that there is a depressed edge, or there is a depressed, the back is having that depressed look that you also did directly on your fabric, if you understand what I mean. So that depressed look is just where that zip would sit and balance properly, so at the end of the day you would not have the wobble that we usually have on our back parts for some person. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, I hope this video was helpful at this point. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you could encourage us to post out more videos. Okay, bye. See you in my next video.